Hi, in this video we will see how to create a project for the demand forecasting. First we need to create a project. Select the demand forecasting, write the name of the project, demand for, let's say demand demo forecasting. Alright, create a project. So once you open the project, you will see the interface like this, where you can upload the data which will be having the demand forecast, some master data which are optional like product master, location master. Or in this example we will just show the demo. So you can start with the loading some example from this library. So we can, let's load the example for athletic footwear. So data is loaded, so we can see a data summary, like what are the different columns are there, what are the values, or is there anything wrong with that. So we can all check in data summary. Then we have the historical data that we loaded, the product master data and the location master data. Then we have the visuals, like where we can see the historical data with the different trends, different findings at different level. So we can do that all. So once we load the data, next thing is going in the baseline forecast. So we can do the demand forecasting at a SQ level, at aggregate level, at multi hierarchy. So we can select at what level I want. Let's say I select the product hierarchy 1. Then I select all the product to be summed as a 1. Like you can get the forecast for each product separately. If you want that, you need to select the first one forecast each separately, or if you want combine together, then you select the second one. We will select the second one. You can do this forecasting at a location level as well. If you have the plant, distribution center, retail store, customer, country, city and region, these are the different granularity at which you can create demand forecast. So we will keep them as, since we have one plant, so we will keep all combined together. After that we need to choose the model. So once you click here, so we have the multiple columns starting from simple statistic to the advanced model, some ML models and deep learning and intermittent demand model as well. So we can start with the moving average, exponential smoothing, and we can use the multiple models and compare them and choose the one which is the best. So we can select the multiple models that we want, and again then you don't need to set up the parameters. Like you can click on the meridian, it will reiterate the all the parameters and find the best where we have the minimum MAP. That's what we have selected here. Look for the lowest MAP or RSME or the R square value. So let me go there. So we have selected all this model. For let's select only first two. We will run it quickly. We ask meridianx to put the parameters, so it adjusted that. The next thing is just to run the demand forecast. So we can see we have the demand forecasted. The black line shows the historical data, and after this period for next 6 months, if we want the demand for the monthly level, daily or weekly level, we can select that. And for what origin we want the demand, so we can select that as well. So we can see the forecast from two different model. One is the moving average, another is the exponential smoothing. We can check the model performance, like which model provided the better performance. So in this case it's the moving average, which is a simple 3.19% P. So we can select that. We can visualize the numbers like by adding the data labels. So we can add some confidence interval as a band with 80% confidence interval. So we can add the bands. We can use the bars, let's say for 90% service level. So we can see the bars, can see the minimum, maximum and the confidence interval. Once we have the forecast, like we have all the information in the table format, all the calculations it does, so we can export that using the export button. Then if we want to manually adjust the forecast, that is baseline forecast, then we can select specific product, specific location, and we can adjust it by the percentage, or we can add some quantity up and down. So let's increase it by the percentage 10% and just hit button. So we can see there is increase in 10% demand. We can add the multiple adjustment for different product, different locations, and by default it selected the moving average because that was the best, but we can select any other models that is from the previous baseline. And then the last section we have the promotional lift. If you are providing some kind of the discount and we have the selling price, then based on the elasticity of the product it will check how much lift we are generating. Let's say we provide the discount of 2%, and let's see how much my forecast is getting improved. So we can see the forecast is improved a little bit here. We can do this for different product, because each product has a different elasticity, so we can use that. Or even we can set the target, and then for each month it will find out what is the discount you need to provide in order to get this target each month or the period that we have defined here. So it will show the demand line. We can look in the table what are the information that are required, what is the required discounts in the percentage for different months, and definitely we can create a report out of that using the Meridian X. So it will generate all the details of all the analysis, all the parameters that we have set and run together. So this is something you can easily export and share with the stakeholders. So that's how AI can helping us to minimize our time on the analysis.